So then this is Article 14, protection of discrimination in respect of rights and freedoms. So basically, you have the right to not be discriminated against, whether that's age. If you're older, you don't have you have the right to make sure that nobody can discriminate you for age. If you're disabled, if you whichever gender you are, religion, race, ethnicity, all of that you shouldn't be discriminated against. Whether you're disabled, gender, pregnant, any of those. And this is part of the European Court of Human Rights. That's a right, that is, that you've got. And they ensure that that doesn't get broken by implementing it into courts. So if you're discriminated against for one reason or another, then that's that's an illegal act. So in court, that is recognised as an illegal act, and you may be fined for it depending on how bad it is, or you may even be imprisoned on it if it's an extreme case. So then, Protocol 1, Article 1, right to be peaceful in enjoyment in your property. So this is stuff like you have the right to enjoy your possessions and enjoy living in your property and be peaceful in it. But sometimes this can be taken away from you, which is an illegal act to take that away from you. This is where This is where antisocial behaviour comes in, and antisocial behaviour is basically an act which is making people not happy in their own homes, taking away their peace, which is a right which makes it illegal to do so, to take that away from them. So that is actually an illegal act, which is antisocial behaviour. So then, that's that. And Protocol 1, Article 3 is the right to participate in free elections. So the right to participate in free elections is pretty important, as when there's a election going on and you get to vote for which constituency or which party you want to vote for, then you are allowed to vote for whichever one you want. If you weren't allowed to vote for whichever one you want, it would just come down to which party has got the most power, and they would force you to vote for them. So it's important that they have you have the right to participate in free elections, which allows you to lay the foundation for your country in voting for it. So then, this is once again governed by law. Those laws started in United Nations, and then when European Union was created, it came into that. And European Court of Human Rights has made that a right to have the participation in free elections. So then, Protocol 1, Article 2, going backwards, Mr. Dead, is the right to education. Education is a fundamental right to have for the human. Obviously, if you weren't educated, what would you know? Not very much. You don't even know what your mum and dad taught you. And that wouldn't be that much. So the right to an education is kind of crucial for millions and millions of children. But millions more of children still don't manage to get education, even though that's part of their right as being human. So the World Bank help with this, as they fund poor countries with loans with 0% interest rate charge, or maybe a very, very low interest rate charge, in order to provide education for those in poverty, so that they can provide education and help the poorer countries, so nobody is left behind just because of how much money they have. So then, moving on to Article 1 of Protocol 13, so the abolishment of death penalty. It's a good job this has been removed, otherwise there'd still be many still be many crimes punishable by death. So then, sentences of death is basically a violation of a right to life. So obviously you can't have the death sentence without taking away the right to life. So this actually makes it clear that you can't kill someone because you have a right to life. So there can't be a death penalty because that's still killing someone. This is definitely implemented in the European Courts of Human Rights, and they make sure that has to be abided by all the European countries, and so does the European Union. Yet the United Nations try and make sure that it's implemented by everybody, all countries around the world, but some countries with extremist views and dictatorships can also ignore this and do what they want, sort of thing, which obviously is breaking the Article 2, the right to life. So this is where they will have key parts to make sure that nothing else like that happens. Abolishment of the death penalty. In some countries, some unstable countries around Middle East, let's say Saudi Arabia, they may still have the death penalty for certain crimes. Now, that is trying to be looked at by the United Nations to try and cut that out, so that all countries have abolished the death penalty, as that's taking away a human's basic right to life. So then, also Amnesty International do this because when they defend someone who's been unlawfully arrested, they can actually be on trial for the death penalty in some countries. So they get them out of that if they deserve to be out of it, and if they can get them out of it. So that is how Amnesty International also affects it. So then that's all of Unit 7 done. Thank you.